30 minutes. No, we weren't. Hey up, everybody. Right, okay, so got the Forest Man United preview. Just want to ask Brian. Brian, what do you think of Manchester United and Hot Fuzz?
Oh, you are of disgrace! Hey, Baz! For missing the target from there, you want bloody shooting!
But how do you react, though, when someone, from your playing staff comes in and says, boss, I think you're doing this wrongly?
Good, well, I ask him which way he thinks it should be done. We get down to it, and then we talk about it for 20 minutes, and then we decide I was right.
First of all, I think we've got more skillful players than you to take corners, and secondly, you're one of the best in the club. Get in there. That's what I pay you for.
Brian says you're a disgrace. I'm Manchester United. How bad's that, mate? Right, we've got the preview for Forest Manchester United. I've got my dude Hot Fuzz. Remember the days, Hot Fuzz, when we was doing streams before, when we was really small YouTubers?
We're massive now.
We still are, aren't we? Actually? Yeah, forget that. Right, big yourself up, man.
Yeah, man. Interesting game. It's been a while since I've been on your channel. It's been a bit of a while, and good to be back, and not so good to be coming back into a fixture that we've already lost once this season in another competition, given that the current state of affairs at Man United and the interesting player side of things that has become a revelation. With all sorts of things, and your typical media booting into overdrive, and everything's gone to pot again. So it's not looking too hot going into this game tonight, and with it being only a few hours away, it's I'm not looking forward to it, to be quite frankly honest with you.
I am, which is quite funny, but let me just catch. Carl Rossi said it's on BBC One later on if anybody wants to watch it. Big up to you, Stephanie Griffiths. And also, am I confident? A bit, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I'd rather be playing the underperforming stars than like people he's going to put in who's going to want to try and show something. You know what I mean? So that kind of worries me a little bit, but. We've got to do what we did when you came there last time and just get into you and do it the same way that we normally do. I mean, I'd love to go through in this competition. Big up to Mama Flossie. We doing a dual watch along. I don't normally do the duels now, to be honest. I mean, if Fuzzer wants to do it, then maybe.
Unfortunately, I can't do watch along, so I've got the good, the bad, and the ugly show kicking off at 8:30 tonight, and whilst that's going on, I'm already in the ugly for this week, and it might just get more ugly tenfold whilst we're live. And by the time we get to the end of the show, I'm probably going to be living off of antidepressants. It's going to be that.
I'll come in and let you know anyway.
You're at least that time. At least that time you can actually drop in the comments at the end of the game if you're still winning. Yeah, that we could score one more than you. At least that time you won't end up losing the games. But yeah, man.
Score one more than you, then you end up scoring one more than us. Big up to Pain Like Bane, big up buddy, and big up to TJ Amara, DJ Crane, and also Big T, big up to you, mate, and also Luke James, big up to you. So, tell me about because apparently you was awful on at the weekend. I didn't watch
Oh.
it, but apparently he was. So who's out and who's in?
Wow. I think awful's a compliment to those players, considering that's usually the most frequent word used to describe most of those first team players just across the season in general. But it feels like it's a new low that's been hit on Saturday, which is ironic considering it's come off the back of our most consistent run of form all season, and the fact that we've not lost a game this year until Fulham happened, which is mental to think about. But at the same time, it's probably a lot of things brewing and bubbling under the surface. Get to Fulham, it all just spills out. So it's like it's a really cracked up wall, just a single thin layer coat of paint across it. Can't see the cracks, but we'll just actually see the foundations of that wall. It's literally, you could flick it and the whole thing's about to crumble to pieces. And that feels like what's essentially happened here. And the fact that we're going into this game with quite a significant amount of fallout, from media side, supposedly from player side, about talking about how the players were really angry or frustrated, disappointed that the club said, no, you cannot have Sunday off as an extra day off for you off the back of putting in one of your worst performances this season, losing at home.
It's not though, don't
You
it?
should be winning.
They can act for something like that.
And literally, they felt like they were offended, supposedly. So, whoever that is, it just reinforces my position on where a lot of these players have got to be kicked out of this club. And with some of those reports that we've also had come out at the beginning of this week about Sir Jim Ratcliffe could have as many as 10, 11 players up for sale. It's hard to disagree with those reports, and whether it's actually going to happen. Supposedly there is going to be a serious summer exodus and kicking a lot of people out.
Gotta be, mate. Gotta be.
Supposedly we had similar stories come out before the summer last year as well, but Murta Madness, that obviously didn't happen. So hopefully it's actual Barada and Ashworth madness, and they actually do kick a lot of these players out, and some big names have got to go. They would talk about Varane and Casemiro because the highest earners, you want to fix up your wage budgets and builds us some new identity for a team. But guys like Rashford, Sancho, Martial, all of those guys, get them gone. They are washed. They are dusted. They are finished. Man like Sancho's gone to Dortmund to resurrect his career, and already the Dortmund managers said comments along the same lines as Ten Hag has. Where's your social media post, though, Sancho? Where were you coming out to say his comments are unreasonable? Didn't happen, because it's like, oh, well, I can't use that excuse anymore. Because I've gone back to the club that made me and have so far just stunk the place out. Literally getting subbed off in the 60th, 70th minute pretty much every game now. Like, it's not good.
Well, if I could hazard a guess on two players that probably wanted the Sunday off, I'd probably say Fernandez, who to me should have been done. Really, I mean, I've seen it on a highlight where basically he goes down, rolls around like a prick for ages, and then basically doesn't get the free kick, gets up and runs straight over to the ref. Now that kind of thing, I think, should be reprimanded.
You call it petulance, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm. He's cheating, isn't he? He's cheating. He's making out he's injured and then just jumping straight up and running at somebody.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I think a lot of people that have backed Bruno, and one namingly we can say, from the biggest fan channel out there, the bloke who absolutely adores the guy has come out and said, look, you guys have proven me to be wrong. I'm wrong about him. He is petulant, and it's a problem. It's a massive problem. And if it's a big problem, what do we do with problems? We cut them out of the club, cut them out of the picture, and that's what needs to happen. Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho. There's so many names there on big wages, big stashes at the club, and the influence on the dressing room as well. because those guys. Meanwhile, you can be top earner. You can also command a lot of influence on the other players that do want to follow the leadership, whether that comes from manager or senior players. And if you've got power in that dressing room, you can influence everybody. And if you're the influencer and you're not pulling your weight, what do you think everyone else is going to do? They're not going to make an example out of you. They're going to follow your steps. So,
like Big T says, reward wins with days off, not losses. Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what what it is to me. It's like a Viking longboat, and there's certain players, certain people that ain't grabbing the oars. You know what I mean? And certain people that's leaving other people with the oars. When I say oars, I don't mean women, dirty women. I mean, the oars on a boat. But, I mean, it's like, and that's just what it seems like with you guys at the minute. I mean, it's a bit mental. I mean, what do you think you're going to line up tonight? Who's out and who's in?
Well, rumours had it about Bruno being, I think, probably dropped or left out of this game, along with some. Of course, Luke Shaw's out for the rest of the season. Makes the whole thing of sending Reguilón back look like a massive, massive mistake, because Malacia's, we're pretty sure he's dead now. As far as other positions, I think Varane, or they also said could be a doubt. So that and I think Harry Maguire as well could be a doubt. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Evans and Lindelof get thrown out into the starting 11. Amrabat at left back, Delert right back. Maybe Casemiro might start. I know he went off with I think he had a knock with a clash of heads. I think he's okay. But if not, then that's another change. Probably McTominay comes into that midfield, and we all know what happened when we subbed on Scott McTominay against Nottingham Forest at the Forest Ground.
Yeah, hopefully he does that again. That'd be great.
Yeah, at least this time we'll probably do it from the kickoff, and that way we will actually lose. McTominay can't be no impact sub if he's not subbing. But
No.
But as for the rest of the team, I mean, Marcus Rashford, the guy. Yeah, there's a lot of people that I think the masses are now turning against him. Absolute masses are just they've had enough of him. The amount of people that I know, there's still a lot of people out there on the social front saying, "Look, you back him. He's Manc, born and bred." Anybody that criticizes him is a racist, and ludicrous throwaways like that, right?
Yeah.
But the major consensus is that Rashford his head is not checked into Man United, and it annoys me to no end for every report I see saying Rashford, he's committed to this club. Bullshit. Look at his actions. Bullshit. Look at his attitude.
Yeah,
the guy.
He's one of the worst, to be fair, isn't he?
I mean, he went. He thinks most people have already forgotten about the bender in Belfast. He going out on the lash, and when he's meant to go in for training, oh no, sorry boss, I can't make it in for training. I'm ill. I'm really ill.
But the thing is, mate, you're sort of making a rod for your own back, Ten Hag's, because this is what you get when you don't punish mediocrity. You know what I mean? And every time he just doesn't. I don't know whether he can or whether he's being held back on doing it. I mean, Big T says Bruno's why the league needs a blue card. I don't like the idea of the blue card, to be fair. I think
let's just eliminate Bruno.
Yeah. Let's just get rid of him. I don't like him, to be honest. I don't like him at all. And I don't see why he's a captain either. Big up, guys. Should be a good game tonight. Remember, it's for the greater good. Yeah, big up.
They're great. They're good.
And Big T says, no way all the possible unavailable players have got injured at the same time. I'm wondering if Brailsford has sent instructions for certain players to be left out of the team. He was watching. Well, yeah, I mean, you would expect something like that, wouldn't you? Rashford ain't about football anymore. No, he isn't. And Adama says, beard up all. So I think we're going to, I would say we're going to go for it. I hope that Ina's back, and probably go Niakate and Murillo in defence, although they had a nightmare at the weekend. But then again, he had Niakate at left back. I don't know why, because he was getting cooked by Bailey all the time. So why that happened, I have no idea. Nico Williams probably will be playing as well. Dominguez, who didn't have the greatest game, but he can put it on when he wants to. And probably Danilo or Sangari if they're back and fit. I don't know what the fitness is on our lot at the moment.
Suppose you've got 5
one
players
year,
out.
Hudson Odoi, and I'd probably think about Divock Origi as well, because when he came on, when he played on that right hand side, he did some good stuff on Saturday.
Well, corner taken quickly and all. As far as your injury list, suppose you've got Aina missing, Bolly, Wilfred Bolly's missing, Sangari's still missing, Tavares is still making out with dogs, and you've got Chris Wood that's currently still out with a thigh injury supposedly. But yeah, our injury list is significantly longer, and Bruno Fernandes and Varane are both on the questionable list as to whether they make this game or miss this game. But yeah, Hoyland out, Maguire out, Malacia dead, Martial dead, Lissandro Martinez out, Mount out, Shaw out, and Wan-Bissaka out.
Yeah,
So,
you're a prick, Anthony, mate. You're a prick. I don't have to keep saying it, mate. You're a prick. Right, Mama Flossie, we'll catch you all later. Dinner is ready. Like I say, I'm looking forward to the game. I mean, it'd be great to actually get one on you after you knocked us out the Carabao. We beat you last time at the City Ground, but this is a different game. And you guys tend to like your cups because it don't look like you're going to be doing much else this season. So this would be one thing that you could probably go for. What's your thoughts on Ten Hag? Do you think he should stay or what?
I suppose it's a variable in a situation that's a lot bigger, or it has a lot more impact. If you change that one variable, it changes a lot of everything else. And whether it's good or bad, I think it's subjective based off of how the person views the situation. For me, I'm in the camp where it's with this manager, we know that he's got problems with players in the squad, but he hasn't necessarily got the freedom of influence to switching things willy-nilly. I think it's clear as day that a lot of players, perhaps by disciplinary means, he would like to have dropped, but given player power and all at Manchester United with the toxic culture that's there, he can't just really drop people without them going out behind his back and starting to absolutely turn that place into the bloody volcanic eruption, and which he would probably end up losing his job just because of that. That's kind of how toxic that place is. So whilst I'm in the camp where it's like results, in a results business, if you're not achieving your results, you should be under pressure or facing the sack. At the same time, it's like with this manager, if he does actually get the patience of backing, what does then the ownership and everybody else around him do to rectify the situation where Ten Hag falls short? Do they sell all of that players and illustrate a huge clear out and then give a whole new squad to him and say, see what you can do with that and we'll work from there?
Big up to
Jez as well. Or do you sack the manager, get somebody else in with the potential risk that manager wants to keep everybody there? Big up to Drew. That's the conundrum. If you sack the manager and get somebody new in, what's to say he sits there and goes, actually, I want to try again with all of these players? And it's based off of history, the latter option there doesn't bode so well in the short to mid-term.
No.
That's kind of where I'm at with this situation. So I'm more partial because I think everyone knows how I feel about these players. I think everyone's a bit more partial to. I'm more partial to sticking more so with the manager as opposed to backing these players to try and perform. under yet another manager when we know that's really kind of just a facade, before they end up pulling the rug out from a manager. And hell, Ineos are here now. They've got power now. Sergio Rako's here now. And they're already still trying to pull the rug out of a manager and be spineless and two-faced. So they will do it for any other manager. Doesn't matter if they've got the big bosses there. So for me, it's up to those.
Don't you think though that Ten Hag sort of like screwing himself over by not being, getting discipline out of the players and things like that? Because I just find him a little bit too soft, personally.
I think for Ten Hag, it might be a case that you're damned if you do, but you're damned if you don't. It might be a case of that where he knows he wants to have that much control. Like, I think with the construction or the structure that he has with like the transfer policy would probably illustrate that he's got maybe a bit too much control in that sense, or a bit too much influence in that sense. In terms of having discipline of the players, I think if you've got a club that's got prevalence in player power, if you are a manager and you've got players that have been there since Louis van Gaal, so that's about nearly 3 to 4 managers difference. That's 3 or 4 projects ago, and they're still there. I think you as a manager would think, well, it's not worked for that many managers. If it's not working for me, then surely I should drop that person, push him to the side, say, no, you're not part of my plans anymore. But at the same time, looking at how sort of tied in some of these players are to the British press, the British media, and how very quickly, if anything goes wrong at the club, there's a lot of media stories talking about a manager, and they say sources from within the club, sources from players, sources from here, sources from there, always about the manager, as opposed to, it necessarily radio silence and just more the club want us to be winning, as opposed to suffering these ludicrous results and embarrassing results for that matter. I mean, there's not just in terms of players coming out to speak against the manager per se, in terms of his decisions with giving him Sundays off or not. There's also other.
They're not even doing that though, are they? They're that gutless. They actually leak it out to the press. They're not even going and saying anything to the manager. They're actually leaking it out in the press, or unless if that is what they're doing, or if the press are making it up. Because I mean, they make a lot of shit up as well. But Anthony Evans says, sorry, I was on Fuzzy's channel and Man United won. I felt like I was in loser corner for a second. Who you guys got in the FA Cup tonight? Oh, wait a minute. You're going to win the title, aren't you? Sorry.
Sit down and swivel on it.
You've got bigger fish to fry. Yeah, you can have
it's all in your hands.
Yeah, it's all in your hands.
But it's all quicksand.
Giant Maltese ahead. And, right, okay, so... we're going to. There's another question here by Anthony Herbert. How do you find McTominay for United? He's the second highest goal scorer for United. Fuzzy reckons he's worth 75 million. Thoughts? Fuzzy's been drinking too much chocolate milk, I believe.
75 million pounds. Where the bloody hell have you pulled that number from? I said 75p. And a bag of what?
Whatever that says. Philosophy.
United philosophy. That's Stefan. Big ups to him. Runs a good news show on his channel. So big ups to him. Good to see you, mate.
Old school Gooner. So this game tonight, then, have you got no confidence whatsoever?
After the week, beginning of the week and weekend we've just had, not necessarily. No. I want to say that if we picked up a win against Fulham, that there's a bit more optimism to say, well, I know it's not pretty football, but it's just getting the results in and just picking up the points where we can. I know it's not points accumulation for the FA Cup, but it's like, well, you've got a chance to go deep in the tournament and potentially go on into the final to potentially rectify last season and end up winning it. And it would be nice, United to get to 2 FA Cup finals in a row, especially given how the way that the team has been, the club has been, through all the turbulence and all. But it's like when
It
Fulham
is a tough
happens,
one,
it's-
isn't it? Though, depending on which one of us goes through. I mean, there's some teams in there that's like, Man City wins 6-2 yesterday. I mean,
Haaland scoring 5 and
that's
De
what I'm
Bruyne
saying.
assisting
I mean,
4.
you've got Liverpool, who's got Saints tonight. So, I mean, it would be great to go through, but it's who you're going to get next in it. Because I think the draw's like straight after the game, as far as I know.
I'll tell you what. I mean, talk about other big teams that go through into the next round. There's Chelsea versus Leeds, and I'll tell you what. Whoever goes through tonight, I'll tell you what, they will not look forward to facing Leeds in the next round.
I'll take them on, mate. If you can go through, I'll have them.
I think there's a few more people that would prefer playing Chelsea at the moment than to Leeds, but that's by the by. But yeah.
What do you think of this? What do you think of this story that I heard yesterday? That you was going to be looking at Barkley to replace Casemiro.
I think it's a speculation thing. It's probably a side of the agents probably trying to talk to medias and say, what would be really good for my agents, my client stocks is if you link us with a story to Man United. And of course, that's in hot demand at the moment because new ownership, new board on the way in. We still haven't got a director of football though, guys. So I don't know why we'd be making plans before having somebody in place to actually do the business. Because otherwise we're basically we could be setting somebody up for failure who's meant to be such an instrumental part of the club's future success.
Yeah.
So it's like you read all of these stories and you think, when you get linked to players, you think, oh yes, lovely stuff, give me some more of that. But then you realise, well, the person that would actually need to sign him is not here yet. So it's really futile to even entertain those sort of conversations at the moment.
Do you think, like old school Gunner says, Man United are really missing Højlund? He gives everything he has. Do you think that's one of the major problems?
Well, in terms of in a goal scoring front, it is, yeah. Because what Højlund does in the number 9 position is is basically everything that Rashford didn't do. He'll
turn up tonight. He'll turn up tonight. You watch. Big up to Eros as well. Yeah, he'll turn up tonight. Rashford will. He normally does against us, to be fair.
Well, I mean, if he does, then great, fantastic. It means that my slander of him can be filled with some kind of words instead of the ones that I usually throw at his head. But But yeah, for me, the bridge there is burnt for me. I'm not really interested in trying to rekindle any sort of faith in Marcus Rashford after he has one purple patch season after his break. And I suppose that's one thing as well. His demeanour on the pitch, compare him to when he had his breakthrough season under LVG. Always smiling. Looked like he was excited, he was jumpy, he was wanting to make impact and all. Gets these big contracts, gets made the poster child of the club, and it's like he hates being there. He wishes he was anywhere else but there. And
I think he thinks he's bigger than you guys, to be honest.
I wouldn't be surprised if he does, because I mean that's kind of what some people may feel when you get basically made the face of the club. You think, well, if I'm the face of the club, I am Mr. Manchester United, so yay is me.
Would you agree with
Why
that?
was that?
What old school Gunner says?
When Casemiro went off against Fulham, the game changed. He holds everything together for Man United. I think it's a blend between him and Mainu. Casemiro on his own can be a bit hit and miss. Mainu on his own can be a bit hit and miss, but those two, when they work together, gives a good balance. It's by far the best partnership in the defensive midfield area. So they complement each other really well, and Casemiro speaks really glowingly of Mainu as well. So, I know that they do work really, really well together. But when you take away one of those two, it changes the balance for better or for worse. And when that balance gets changed, of course, the flow of the game, the state of the game changes as well. So you can lose momentum, you can lose control, you can lose structure if you upset that balance. So, yeah, for me, those two, keep them together for as much time as possible and only change it when you want to switch gears and make a change that's proactive rather than pragmatic.
What do you think of Ilanga since he's signed for us?
Well, he's done all right for himself. He's bedded himself in, got himself comfortable, and I think has himself a role in the team. Clear foresight, knows what is expected of him, and when he performs on a pitch, it's good to see. And I'm sure from a Nottingham Forest perspective, spend £15 million on a player that for us we like. Well, it's not really proving that much for us. That was a good price, but then for you guys, he's proving, even if he isn't scoring a goal or assisting, everything else he can contribute. I mean, he's surefire done like 10 times, 100 times the amount that Anthony's done. And which player cost 85 million? Which player cost 15? Which player cost 70 million pounds less? The one that's actually having impact for his team and is fitting a role in what the manager wants. So,
definitely.
You can't have any complaints with that. But
well, like you say, 15 million. I mean, can you remember when Stan Collymore went? He went for about that. So, that was back in the day when the prices weren't stupid like they are now. I mean, because any player that's being sold now is normally in the region of like 100 million, isn't it?
It's I don't like that with clubs nowadays where they talk about players and the overinflation of pricing, and as soon as somebody like 20 years of age, between 20 to 23 years of age, gets even remotely semi-decent, immediately they think, I know, 9-figure values in the transfer market, as opposed to realistic, probably scratching that of an 8-figure. So somebody who should be worth realistically about 20 million will get listed for about 80. And it's just really anti-practical, and it's forcing clubs. And I suppose we should hopefully start to get used to this, drive clubs like us away to go searching alternative markets where people actually reasonably charge players, pick out the best qualities from there and bring these players in. And then all of these other players that want to move away from these clubs that overinflate their players' pricings will sit there and go, well, I'm bored at this club. I want to further my career, but I'm stuck at a football club that's not letting me go for a reasonable price. So I have to try and figure out how to stay as the hot prospect for an extended period of time. But by the time it comes around where they relax on the pricing of that player, the hot prospect is gone. The player's stagnated. He's not so special anymore. So, yeah. So, for me, as long as Manchester United don't go around spending stupid money anymore, and we actually, spend our money wisely, then, I can be happy with what kind of business that we do. It can be shrewd, it can be smart, it can be intelligent, and profitable for one, but also sustainable in its model towards success.
Well, he's got to get better at it. I mean, it's got to get better. It can't get worse, can it? Really? I mean, you're still sort of staying and around it, and you're not in no relegation issues or anything like that. But Anthony Herbert says, "Great, if Forest beat United, he is Fozzie a prick. Well, he's always a prick.
Yeah, nothing changes that.
Exactly. None of that ever changes. That's always the case anyway. But yeah, and Old School Gunner says Bergkamp was 7.5 million back in 1995. I mean, look at that for a player. And Cantona was 1 million in 92. I mean, it's mental, isn't it, really, when you think? I mean, that's two players there that easily beat the £1 million price. Easily. Roy Keane. Yeah, they massively beat that price if they was like sort of around the game nowadays. So, what about this Dan Ashworth thing? Because I mean, I've been talking to Mama about it. He's put him on gardening leave, hasn't he? But that's looking like it could be about 20 million to pull him away.
Yeah, they're asking for
you into FFP.
Yeah, they're
He looks
basically
mental, mate.
yeah. But 20 million severance pay. I suppose there's one thing. If I want to play a card of sour grapes, right, and just say, "Oh, Newcastle being sour grapes," basically they say, "Well, we're mad that you're taking Dan Ashworth off of us. Well, you took him off of Brighton in their pomp, so." So it's kind of just how the way football works, and
Yeah,
you know,
well, it is,
take
isn't it?
cut your losses in various instances. But 20 million, the club as it stands don't want to pay 20 million, don't want to pay remotely close to that. They're trying to negotiate to get the pricing lower, and we're seeing stories about the compromise is going to be, you know, it could cost X amount, but he has to then start work after a certain period. The latest reports, well, it started off being, you know, they'll wait it out completely, not pay a penny. Then so that was taking us all the way to next summer. Bearing in mind we are currently sat, you know, end of February, so that's a ridiculously long time. The next report came out, said, yeah, we'll let you take him a 1 year's time from now, so about February time, if you pay a small fee. Now the stories come out saying, well, pay a compensation nearing 10 million and we'll let him start after the summer transfer window. That still doesn't work for us, so we've still got to keep pushing that back and get the compromise so that he's in place before the summer transfer window. So whether this might be, and I'm speculating there might be a little bit sort of something to play on this, that Newcastle would like, ideally, to get that severance pay to maybe commit towards finding a new director to replace him, or whether they get the new director come in and that severance package for garden leave suddenly gets a lot more lenient. So all of a sudden, oh, we're not too fussed about 20 million anymore. We'll happily lower it for you, for him to start work immediately. And then it goes in, the ball goes back into Man United's court. So, I mean, some people say, well, pay 20 million now, because 20 million ultimately means you don't then spend 80 million on a fidget spinner, courtesy of one John Murtough. So it ultimately saves you a lot more money in the long run if you make the investment now. And the thing is, I would say, yeah, reasonably, for what the kind of work he's meant to do, is meant to save us money in the transfer markets. So it's worth the investment now to save a lot more further down the line. And the investment might be much more worth it if it then reciprocates in success. So you get more monetary gain out of it in more ways than one. So to me, it's whether United pay it or don't pay it. For me, the biggest thing that the thing about it wouldn't really make any sense, would it? For a guy that's so instrumental to building your success back, and you think, right, we're going to start this summer, but the director of football that we want is not going to start until next summer. Wouldn't make any sense, even just after this summer transfer window. It wouldn't make any sense if you're saying we're going to build back better, but then a key component to that.
Oh, don't have that saying. Build back better. That's what the
Make America great
Prime Minister used, mate. Don't have to build back better. That was just build loads of bollocks, mate. That's what that was. So
well,
I
I
wouldn't
don't know.
use
They
that
might be.
I mean, this guy, he only does like negotiations and things like that, doesn't he? I mean, there's nothing. I mean, according to what Mama's been telling me, I don't really know that much about him, to be quite honest with you. Do you think he's the answer to the issues what you've got at the minute?
He's the answer to a few problems. Not all the problems, because that requires a team. That requires everything to be intrinsically linked, unified in one big project, and then pushing the same direction. That's where you get the success element. But it's building the key components to build that final project there, and then putting it into action. So it's important that we do get the key pieces or components. It's like a couple of cogs in a car, in the engine of a car.
Yeah.
The car's not really going to function properly if you haven't got those key components and it's not going to drive forwards, it's probably going to start driving sideways or backwards. So the car can look nice, but is it going to do what it's meant to do if you've not got all the pieces there? And that, to me, is ultimately the end goal there. That's where we kind of want to be at the moment in time. Be set in place, all the pieces you need, so that you are set up as best as you can be for success. As the saying goes, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. Let's sort out.
What do you think about the situation with Everton getting the 4 points knocked off, which is kind of dropped us right to 17th now? So we're kind of right on the cusp of going down or whatever, however it goes. Because, I mean, next up, we've got Liverpool. So, I mean, everything's fucking party time at Forest at the minute. Because, I mean, that's going to be, if we defend like we did at the weekend, then we're going to get absolutely mullered.
Oh, I didn't realise that Everton actually got 4 points re-added to their tally.
It was 10 points deduction on it, and they've given they've made it 6 instead, so it's pushed them above us, and we're right on. We're 4th from bottom, I think. So
24.
It's not looking good. Not to say that we've got Liverpool next, and Liverpool are on the verge of trying to win a title. So
off the back of winning a cup as well. I'll tell you what though, we were off the back of winning our Carabao Cup when we went to Anfield and then lost 7-0. So they might come to your ground and lose 7-0 as well. So you never know. It might just be.
Hey, I want
I'll tell you what. If you do beat Liverpool comprehensively, I'll tell you what.
Sure, you're not an Arsenal fan with that kind of delusion.
No, it's just withdrawal symptoms from winning Premier League titles. They're much further down the road. So of course, United fans are going to start getting that little cuckoo bird going up in their heads a bit. But
Anthony says the answer is Man United should call it a day. They're shit. Well, we'll see kind of how it goes tonight because it's a cup game. I'm hoping that we have a really good game, real sort of back and forth, and I'd like to see us get a fair few goals, to be quite honest with you. Whether it'd probably be a boring 1-0 or something. But, it should be a good game because we've always had good games in the past. So hopefully it's going to be a good one and we all, we go for it and you go for it. So that's kind of what we're looking for, really. So it's a good
I do hope we both go for it, but hopefully it's Man United going for it a little bit more than Forest because, of course, got to win these games. Yeah.
Well,
no matter what.
You have. But, we also all of a sudden got to win it as well. So, we'd like to, if we end up going down, take an FA Cup with us, it'd be nice. Although even if we got past you, the teams that's coming up is like fucking hell.
I think Man City.
You've got to be in it to win it. Ask Arsenal. Oh, they're not in it, are they?
Yeah, you can't say that to them. Got to be in it to win it, but how could you win it if you're never in it?
Exactly. They ain't bad out straight away. So.
It's like
sitting. Nice of them, though, weren't it, to bow out and let everybody else have a chance?
It's like sitting on a ski lift. It's like Arsenal knockout cup competitions is like sitting on a ski lift. The seat's made out of ice. It's at a slant, and there's no barriers to hold you in. You just go and sit down. You get off. You literally start to go up, and straight away you fall off and faceplant. That's the story of Arsenal in the cup competitions.
Definitely. And I think Morgan Gibbs-White's going to give you a bit of a nightmare tonight. He's just
White.
Different class,
Callum Hudson-Odoi as well. Ronnie's available as well. There's all sorts of players that can do all that. Cause all sorts of problems.
It could be. It depends really how we sort of set up. If we go for it, then I think we've got really good attacking prowess, but you've got to sort that defence out, man. That defence on Saturday was fucking garbage. You've got to press you as well. Got to press you.
Defence, discipline and attack as well. As long as everyone's actually working hard. I know that it might be can be dodgy emotes in games, but fundamentally it's just better all round if everyone's at least trying. Because at that point, you can say, well, it's a competitive game. Whereas if you got Rashford not running, not pressing, not running the channels, not making space, not holding up play, not actually doing anything, just sulking in a corner of a pitch somewhere, at least then it's, well, you could say at least Manchester United, they'll compete with Forest. Whereas, whoever it is you start at centre backs, if Rashford's playing in front of you, easy game. There's as much time and patience on the ball, and you control the tempo. Possessions with you. You can recycle possession because we'll not be quick to win the second balls. It's just, it would literally all just fall into place for you, and by which you'll probably just dictate the game, control the tempo, work all the chances, and the only team that would end up scoring goals off that basis is your team. Forget Rashford scoring any goals, because he doesn't want to hold up play or do anything to actually indulge in attack.
Can we stop slagging Rashford off, because he's probably gonna have a good game, because we just because every time I slag any player off, they normally have a fucking really good game.
That's the whole part of doing
him
it.
Off, he'll be the one that's on the back of headlines tomorrow.
That's the whole point of doing it. Talk it into existence.
Reverse psychology. I'm sure he's watching this. You know what I mean?
Well, in that case, then Garnacho's fucking prick. Absolute wank. Anthony is the worst footballer of all time. Literally, just a fidget spinner who literally just spends his time lazing around with a ball at his feet, going around in circles.
Anthony
Kylie Minogue.
better than him, to be fair.
Yeah. I mean, take the H out, then he's probably got more better credentials as a footballer.
But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a good game. I mean, it's going to be on. I'm due watch along about 7 o'clock. I think I've got it set for, and we're going to see kind of what happens. I mean, I want us to really take it to you, to be fair, and it'd be a really, really good watch along. But that means it'll probably go exactly the opposite way. My luck, but we'll see. It's a cup game. It's a one-off. It's one of them one-off games, and then we'll kind of see how it goes. Because Bournemouth went out to Leicester yesterday. Watched that game. Really sort of. There seems to be that gulf seems to be disappearing with Championship teams and Premier League. Because I thought Leicester really put on a decent show, but Bournemouth did have second string out to a point. So, and then obviously Newcastle got through on penalties, but they made hard work of it with Blackburn as well.
I suppose with the Championship teams, the guys like Leicester, Leeds, and Southampton, they've actually done all right with holding on to some of their Premier League players, and you can see where how the table's sort of sorting itself out, that they can have rocky starts, getting bedded into the Championship, but once they sort of know what the game's all about down there, you start to see the qualities shine itself through a bit. And I think it's just going to end up being that most of which they'll start yo-yoing their way back up to the Premier League.
Yeah.
And the Championship clubs at the moment are looking like the most likely to go back down. So, it's kind of the way it is at the moment. I think it's Taib there. But yeah, it's not great. I see DJ Crento slack off Awonyi. Well, Timo Awonyi. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Never score. He won't score any goals tonight. Callum Hudson-Odoi won't score any goals tonight. Neither will Alanga.
Callum Hudson-Odoi will have the relative impact of as if he's actually sat on the bench compared to him being on the pitch.
Morgan Gibbs might be terrible. Worst game we've ever seen him have. So yeah, let's do all this reverse psychology and see if that works out. It's got to work for one of us, I suppose. Bowling Large, how you doing, man? Blackburn were immense against Newcastle from what I saw. No reason Forest can't get about United. Yeah, exactly. You see, it does always say it's down to mentality, and we've got to have a better mentality about this game than they have.
That's reverse psychology right there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So we've got to go out and do what we've got to do at the end of the day. Chris Wood, hat-trick incoming. He's injured, mate. He's out.
Unfortunately, no, no CW7. Unfortunately,
I think you might see a bit of the two new lads as well tonight. Rayner and what was the other guy's name? Ribeiro.
okay.
So you might possibly see something of them tonight as well. Probably not from the beginning, but probably coming on sort of later on.
One of those two will definitely, if they do come on and play, they'll definitely be one of the winning goals, 100%. Like it'll be 1-1 at some point, and they'll come on and literally like the first set piece from a corner. They'll just be back post, the one unmarked player, and they'll just smash it.
Yeah, fuck off then. Me fucking reverse psychology. If Forest got to the final man, that would be some achievement. Final man. If Forest got to the final man, that would be some achievement. Yeah, absolutely.
If Forest leave their own half, that would be an achievement.
Yeah, that would be absolutely an achievement for sure, 100%. But it'd be tough to actually do that. Taib, I took my off if that's the case. And lol, Anthony. Yeah, so right, we're gonna cut it down there. And you know, what can I say? There's no good luck coming from me to your side. But if you want to,
I don't need luck. We need prayers. We need prayers. We need prayers, not luck. But yeah, big ups to you, man. Yeah, find me Opvos44 OG on YouTube, on Instagram, of course. Got
fucking OG, man, original gangster.
Original gangster.
We've got Jesus the Godfather. You're the original gangster, and I'm just an airy prick.
Yeah, got another eyebrowless prick in Nancy Herbert in chat as well, who will be joining me tonight, 8:30 p.m. for the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I'll tell you what, by the time that show's kicked off, probably be roughly about half time in our game. So if you see me and my eyes are red from crying, you know how the game's going. One of two things: it's either that bad or it's one of the most beautiful football we've ever played, that you've ever seen, that it's made me feel emotional. I think we all know which way that one's going to go, though. So hopefully I can actually be a little bit more bouncy and happy, bantering from the ugly seat, as it would seem that I'm currently positioned for this week. And hopefully,
when I first saw that show, I thought it went in the way people look. So I thought Anthony should always have been in the ugly seat, to be fair.
Well, since he got his Arteta eyebrows glued onto him by Tont, then yeah, it's kind of gone that way. He's loaning eyebrows every other week.
So make sure you follow Opfuzz44 OG. And make sure you follow his YouTube channel as well. Also, make sure you follow the Bowling Lounge and all the other channels. I'll try and link them in the chat, but I'll get around to that. But anyway, so we're gonna call it there. So yeah, like I say, there's no good luck from me. There'll be no coming into the chat and singing we're gonna score one more than you. So
I might have to do that, you know.
Yeah. Well, mate, if
for
you
reverse
psychology, you do it. you do it, mate, because I certainly won't do. Because I ended up with fucking sauce all over me face. Actually, that don't sound.
I'll have to do it if Anthony somehow plays and scores a goal. I'm sorry, if that happens, the world is ending, and I'll have to milk. It is such a rare
Anthony
moment.
Plays and scores a goal, mate. I'm gonna become a next county fan.
Yeah, you know those Reds shirt. No, sorry guys, I've got the black and white one. Yeah, just jumping across the river for a bit, just for this game.
I can't take that. If he scores a goal, I'm like, oh my fucking days. And I know it's going to happen now. I've said that. I can feel it in the stars.
Well, if you've seen the report that United are willing to cut their losses on him and just sell him in the summer, you'll probably start thinking, well, crap, if I want to stay here, I've got to play on my skin. So I don't know.
I'd do. I'd actually tell him that there's something going on in a different country and then throw him out the plane. Halfway there.
Or throw him off the coach. If they're driving there in coach, they'll probably.
Yeah, or just like they were going fishing and then kick him in. And just all leave and go, oh, we don't know what's happened to Anthony. He's disappeared.
Do like an R-Truth segment that he did instead of going to Australia, he flew to Austria.
Yeah.
It's like, where everybody at?
That's what I'd do. Or like, you know, get him to go and visit a prison and then go, oh, go, you can go in the cell if you like. Go and have a look. And then as soon as he goes in, shut the fucking door and lock it. Right, see you around. See you around. Go and pick up the soap with your fidget spinning. See how far you get on with that.
Try spinning in the prison cell yards. See how far you get with that. People have become sick and tired of your shit.
Exactly. Right. So, you know, anything else you want to add?
Well,
it doesn't matter what.
Well, one subscriber away from 160. So
nice.
if it does matter, subscribe. If it doesn't matter,
yeah, absolutely. I think I couldn't say it any better actually. So yeah, just one more thing, guys. Fuck you. See you later for the watch along. Also, I'm going to start doing some movie reviews as well as game reviews and TV series reviews and stuff. I've got a lot of things planned. Also, something got ideas. Anthony came up with an idea a while back, so I'll probably be doing that as well, which should be a hell of a lot of fun. I'm sure he knows what I'm talking about. So that'll probably be something that's up and coming as well. So there's going to be a lot of good things coming up on this channel. So make sure you follow up Fuzz. And guys, we are out. See you later. Hope Man United get taken away by a tornado. All right, that was bad. That was